Okay, Keisha, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Great. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Keisha Dulaney, and she is the owner and operator of Sweet Monae Personal Chef Services in Florida, Miami area. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So before we get started, I want you to just tell everybody what your personal chef service focuses on and who your clients are and why you started doing this.
Well, my personal chef service pretty much focuses on doing chef services for people who are busy working individuals, health-conscious individuals, and senior citizens. Pretty much my business, we have a weekly in-home chef service, and we also do small boutique catering. So we do a lot of smaller events too as well. So
excellent. Now you've also done some really cool stuff like working on a yacht with clients and traveling to their homes and staying there or going almost every day. Tell me like some of those jobs and how you got them and what you liked about it.
Oh, wow. Actually, a lot of the jobs that I have gotten recently has been a lot of referrals that I've gotten. Thumbtack, which has been a hit or miss, but for the most part, most of my jobs are referrals. And I really, really enjoy working with those type of clients, and especially the ones that allow us to do a little bit of traveling, doing our job. So, which makes it really, really fun.
What about your big fish in Miami?
Yeah.
You've done so many cool jobs, and you have another one now.
Yeah. It's been a whirlwind, I tell you. So this particular client I have in Miami, he comes from New York, and actually they're building a home down in Venetian Isles. So this client I've been with for almost 3.5 years. Wonderful client. And I travel down to Miami and do a lot of pretty much breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the family, which is really, really cool. So, and they're very health conscious family. Some of the family is have vegan practices and whatnot. So, but really lovely family when they do come down, and I'm usually with them from late November going into late April or early May. And then recently I have just gotten a client that lives in one of the affluent private resorts in the Palm Beach area, owns a huge senior living facility here, and I service this client 5 days a week, which originally was supposed to be 4, but he enjoyed the service so much he wanted to turn it into a 5-day-a-week type thing. So I'm so glad to have him and his family on too, as well as a great client too as well. So
great. Okay, let's talk about coaching a little, because you just completed a series of private coaching sessions with me where we had 10 sessions together on the phone. And I just want to talk a tiny bit about where you started from and where you are now. And I'll just to refresh your memory, because it was a couple months ago, the 3 kind of main things that you came to me needing help with were to increase your confidence in running your business and to reach more people. So tell me where you were then, like how it felt, and then where you are now with that.
Yeah, and I just want to say thank you, Chef Stephanie, because the confidence thing was huge, because especially when you're starting a business, you sometimes you do need that little extra push and some, guidance from somebody who has been there and have made all the mistakes and whatnot. And I noticed when I was, this being going into my second year of business, what we had talked about and what we had discussed, there was a lot of, things that, I think that I could have done better, and you had enlightened me to, to take note of those things and, how I could do better in my business. So yes, the increase in confidence, I remember months ago, I was kind of like on the fence, like should I or, should I not? And I say this was like really one of the best investments that I have made for my business, because now I feel a lot more comfortable approaching my clients. Now I know exactly who my ideal client is. And, sometimes when you're starting out, you're kind of trying to catch a little bit of everybody, but, you really understand that you're working to marketing to a certain type of clientele, and those are the people that's going to bring you business time in and time out. So now I see that, and, now I feel a lot more comfortable of, the direction of where my business is going. So, yes, definitely an increase in confidence.
Great. And you mentioned, like, now you feel more comfortable talking to your clients, talking to prospects. What about feeling confident in, like, asking the rate that you want to receive and processing payment and getting it? How has it changed from when we started until now with the whole money side of it?
Oh, it's changed tremendously, because before I was pretty much, I was asking, of course, we do like a grocery deposit for the type of, actually 2 out of the 3 services that I have, but and particularly the weekly in-house chef service. But I would just ask for the deposit, but not ask for, to actually book the cook date. It was more so just a deposit and that's it. So now we're going forward and saying, okay, for a client to actually book, they do need to pay, the rate, the daily rate for the chef's service. And so that in itself, it makes life so much more easier as far as, people canceling and, and so forth and so on. And it just really helps, because now you can go forward and know that your client is already set. Everything is pretty much, they're ready to go, and you can move on to the next client and not really thinking, if you still have this client or not. So that makes it a lot easier. And as far as asking for the rate that we're asking, I feel as though, talking everything through this whole process, we bring such a tremendous value to what we do. So now I really don't have any problems, because all the work that, that goes into the service that we provide, from being in front of the customer, doing all the cooking and everything on the back end, I really feel that every single bit is worth it. So now I really don't have any problems with asking for what I ask, and that's it, and stick to it.
Good. What about did you get any pushback from prospects, or was it kind of all in your head? Like, did anybody say, oh, I don't want to pay you ahead of time, or was it really in your head that you just had to get over it?
I think it was something that I really had to get over, because I think in the beginning, I was just, in the beginning, you just don't want to sound like you're being too pricey, or, and it's just so funny because we recently did and I think I was telling you about this. This is a boutique holiday event that we had recently did, and there was, quite a few people that were saying, oh, we can't afford our service or your service, and, we were trying to give them some alternatives, but, sometimes you just have people who just cannot afford the service, and so my service may not be for them, and that's okay. That is okay. I know what my target market is, and those are the people that we will continue to target too. So, so now it's really not a problem for me at all.
Right. Excellent. So the second thing that you came to wanting to get more clarity on and overcome was to be more productive. Things like which activities to do were the most important. You were feeling like the day kind of gets away from you, that it's hard to prioritize what is the most important thing. Tell me where you started at with that and how you are working within that right now.
Well, I remember I would spend pretty much the majority of my day, just hours and hours at a time, going through menus. Because at first I was doing doing pretty much all my menus, everything could really surrounded around what the client wanted. And we still kind of do that, but now I have a list of menu options that they can choose from, which that was something that you and I had gone over, and you were saying, that would be a more effective way of doing it, is offer, some type of suggestions for them, a list of suggestions. So that's exactly what I did, and it gives them some choices to choose from. And, if, I already have these menus in place, and then I can change them out seasonally. And so now I don't have to feel with each client that comes along, I have to go, make a complete special menu for this, from this client. Let them just go through the menu listing that I already have available and see if they like, what they see from there, and then we can kind of go from there. But that saves a lot of time. And just kind of, streamlining the process. I think, once you have a good process of doing things, from everything from your first initial contact with the client and then, or the prospect, and then, to that, service is rendered, and following up with the client, there's a process that needs to happen. And so really took some time to really think about, each steps, and now seamlessly every single client, this is the process that I go through with the client, and I really don't have to think about it. So that saves a lot of time for me too as well.
Great. Because when, like you said, when in the beginning, like when you started and when everyone starts, basically, it's very hard to have a real process for this because you're not sure of what to do, or you don't, know if this is really necessary, and you might want to skip this step. But now that you have the concrete steps that you walk them through, what happens when something gets out of place, or does it?
Well, if something gets out of place, I mean, I know how to kind of, tackle that situation, head on. And there's always some type of contingent, plan, if just in case if that doesn't go the way that it was supposed to. We always have a backup plan to fall back on. Or if a client is really not sure, then, if they want to proceed with the service, then yes, of course, give them some time to think about it, and then, we can always revisit. And, now I'm able to mark that in my calendar and, kind of follow up a lot better with my clients. So, they may not be front and center with us right now, but rest assured, we're definitely will be reaching out to them in the near future just to follow up with them to see if, they would like to have the service.
Great. So one other thing you also did, and I want to put this in there because you did such an amazing job at it, is you completely remodeled your website. And for you, it was it is for everybody. It's a monumental task. It is very hard. You did, I think, 98% of it yourself. So can you just talk a tiny bit on how you felt about your website when we started and how you feel about it now, and what process you took in conjunction with the coaching to get to where you are now?
With the website that I had previously, I mean, I thought that it was a pretty good website, but then, getting some feedback from you and also from other people, and especially as we were going through the coaching sessions, there was just a long list of things that I needed to change. And so I just thought it would be better to start off fresh and give it a whole new kind of like facelift. And I remember when I originally did my first website, it took about 6 months to do. So
wow.
6 months to do, a couple hours here, a couple hours there. And, but when we were in the trenches, like I say the first month and a half, when I was really kind of like really focusing on getting everything kind of in order. So when we were talking about the things that needed to change, when you were giving me the homework that I needed to do, I was literally on my computer like day in and day out. I say for at least 3 weeks to get this new website going and attach, a blog onto it, and, and so forth and so on. So I think it was just so important because comparing the old with the new website, it's now a lot more cleaner, and it's more concise and direct, whereas with the other website, I think I was a little bit too all over the place and not directly saying what I needed to say. So, you really helped me to filter out all the things that were being said and, just get all the important stuff on the website, because like you were saying, you only have that small window to capture the audience, and so that's what I wanted to do. And the process has been amazing. And I feel so much stronger, in my business now than I did when I first started. So I feel great.
Great. And I see when you're posting on social media and you're doing like new blog posts, like you're so proud to direct people to the website or to have your information located there, versus like a lot of people, if they don't have a website they might be like shying away from it or not, direct people there. So I've noticed you're doing that a lot now, and I'm sure it's paying off.
Yes, and I've gotten so much wonderful feedback on the website itself. It was like, oh my God, it looks wonderful, and people actually find it a lot easier to go through the website, which that was a big problem for me with the old website, is that I think people were getting lost in translation, so to speak, and now they feel a lot more comfortable going through the website. So, but honestly, thank you so much for that, Chef Stephanie, because again, with your guidance in doing so. So.
You're welcome. It looks great. So let's talk about one last juicy thing, which everybody wants to know, and I hope you're comfortable with, but we'll go over your numbers a little bit, because you made a really big transformation, and I know it will just inspire people. So when I met Keisha, she was by no means, not successful. You had success when we met. You had somebody working for you. part-time, as a subcontractor. And you had several big fish already. So by no means were you, just starting out or anything. But I think you were telling me when you signed up for the coaching, your income was between $2,000 and $3,000 a month, about. And by the time we were finishing up, you were between $5,000 and $7,000 a month, and that even December was coming close to $8,000. So
yes,
you have almost tripled your income. That's crazy.
Yeah, we're actually hitting close to 9,000 this month.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yep.
So tell me what it takes to triple your income, because you do a tremendous amount of work. What would you say to chefs who are either in the beginning of their journey, or they just don't have the confidence to even believe it's possible for them? Because that's a really big change in a kind of a short period. So what are 2 or 3 things you could share that have helped you get there?
I would say number one, to even if you have to do whatever is necessary, because I know I had to look at my own financial situation, even in going in with the coaching, I had to make a decision that I needed to invest into myself. I think that's really important. If I gotta, because I was working part-time doing other stuff, and even if I had to reserve some, a little extra for myself, this was all worth it, and I would do it again in a heartbeat, because if you don't invest in yourself to gain the knowledge that you need to move forward in your career or in your business, then your business is not going to grow, plain and simple. And just to be open-minded of the possibilities. And it's always good to surround yourself with positive people who know the business. And, with you, Chef Stephanie, positive, you bring such an abundance of positivity and just a wealth of knowledge, because you have been there and done it yourself. So it's always good to surround yourself with people who are trying to go to the next level and can share your vision where you're trying to go. And I think that's exactly what you do with your students, Chef Stephanie. You share in their vision where they're trying to go and help them get there. So, but I think number one definitely is to invest in yourself. It has to start with you, because if it doesn't come from anywhere else, then it's not going to work, So.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Well said, because a lot of people think it's, should I pay for this, or do I have money for this? But you're thinking of it in the exact perfect way. It's what can I do for myself to make myself better? Because that is how really your business gets better. So excellent.
Exactly.
Excellent. And then the last thing I want to talk about is because some people don't even know what coaching is. And you had a pretty good grasp on it when we started, and you had mentioned, staying on track and accountability. Explain in 1 or 2 sentences what business coaching for personal chefs mean to you, and how has it helped your business?
Oh my God. Just tremendous value. It's something that when you're new and you're on this journey of being an entrepreneur, I think it's really something that you need, not unless maybe somebody may have a business background, but we all love to cook. That's a given. That's the reason why we're all in this business. But there's that whole other business side that a lot of us just don't know. and going through the process, and that is extremely necessary to move forward in your business. You know what I mean? So it's meant a ton, because the steps in the process is just as equally as important on the administrative side as it is, you know, cooking delicious food, because you're going to be all over the place, you know, you're spending so much time doing other things when you can be doing something else if you don't have the back end together. So I think, you know, they both go hand in hand. Yes, being a very good chef is wonderful, but to know that back end, the administrative part, you know, I think is equally as important, because, you know, in dealing with customer service too as well, you know, so, you know, one kind of like, you know, one hand kind of like shakes the other, you know, in that sense. So, just so important, but a tremendous amount of value. That's exactly what I think, you know, the personal chef coaching provides. Like, you don't even understand, you know, not until you really get started, how much you really don't realize how much you need it, not until you really start to get involved. Like, oh my God, where has this been all my life? I know that's
funny.
You know, so.
Great. Excellent. Thank you so much. I think you gave a really good, honest portrayal of your experience, which is just what we want. And just coaching with you has been a pleasure, because you were open, you take direction, you followed through, you saw results, and you're able to reflect on it and just remain happy on the journey. So it was honestly a pleasure to coach with you too.
Oh, same here, Chef Stephanie. You did such a beautiful job, you know, on the way through, and I really, truly appreciate every single ounce of information, every single bit of encouragement, you know, and keeping me accountable for what I needed to do for myself. That was just really so important to me. So I really appreciate all your help.
Great. Excellent. So hang on one second, and I will get right back to you. But this was Keisha Dulaney of Sweet Monae Personal Chef Services.